Welcome again, guys, and today we're going to be reviewing chapter 1091 of One Piece, which has finally been released, so we're going to be taking a look at that. Looking at the cover of the Weekly Shonen Jump, we can actually see that Luffy is on the front cover with Chopper. You can see Usopp riding in as well, and there appears to be a leopard as well, or a cheetah. Actually, I think that's a cheetah looking at it. So that could actually, I don't think that's referencing Lucci. I think maybe he just wanted to put a cheetah in there. Although cheetahs are like the fastest land animals, so maybe it's referencing Kizaru. But regardless, we're going to move on anyway. And we can see the colour spread, which, as mentioned in the leak, was right. It is everybody eating a bunch of pizza there. We can see Usopp, Luffy, Sanji, Nami, and then flamingos. And then you can see Chopper and Brook on another table, and Sanji and Jinbei in the background cooking it. And I'm not quite sure what this means, whether Oda was just in the mood for pizza at the time, or if there was any other meaning behind it. I'm not too sure as of right now. But regardless, we're going to move on to the first panel. And in the first panel we can see a shot of all the Navy ships surrounding Egghead, and we can see a bit of text in the corner where it says the Navy makes its move, and we can see someone saying basically Admiral Kizaru has begun his incursion. Get ready, the enemy's not going to take this lying down. Basically prepare yourselves, we've got a fight coming our way. And then it does show the title of the chapter 1091, which is Sentomaru, and the next cut shows a couple of the pacifistas preparing to shoot. We can actually see one of the random marines there saying don't let them use their lasers. And then there's also another panel here where it pans out to a couple of these ships, and one of the marines is saying to fire the cannons. We can see some explosions, and a couple of marines there just looking quite shocked really. The next panel shows, by the looks of it, a bunch of the sea beast weapons coming out and attacking the battleships. And someone actually says it's the weaponized sea beasts. Someone saying fire. And then here we cut to what was mentioned in the spoiler, which we can see one of the vice admirals, the vice admiral with many chins, as it was quoted, something like that, in the spoilers, actually punching a sea beast with his mechanized arm. I can see why they said it looked like, was it Zephyr, his name from One Piece, because it is quite similar, that fist and the way he punches him anyway. And one of the pacifistas is about to fire his laser, and the other vice admiral also comes along and takes him down with a kick right there. And the vice admirals are touching down, one of them said as well. And then there's just a little shot of a pacifist about to fire his laser. It does then actually cut to the Labostratum, and we can see someone there saying that the Marines and the robo beasts at the coast are actually going on. It's actually Usopp saying, as we can see in the next panel, he's actually talking to someone through the telly thing. And we have a cut here in another panel of Vegapunk, and then it's again one of them cartoony explanation type things that they do quite a lot. And he's basically saying, what, already? Because Sentomaru was waiting for them with a squadron of pacifistas, and basically it should be clear that the island's defences are pretty much impenetrable. And then we get an explanation of sort of the hierarchy of the pacifistas, who has the control over them. The next panel actually cuts back to Usopp and Nami and Brook still talking, and Usopp's basically saying, so they sent that guy out ahead to take out the deterrent. And then Nami saying, basically asking Stussy that's Kizaru, right? They actually sent in an admiral. And Brook saying that it seems those dark memories from Sabaody coming back to us, highlighting the time when they were all in Sabaody and they had to fight Kuzan and Kuma as well, and he sent them all away in the post-time skip. That was an amazing chapter as well, series of chapters. I remember watching it in the anime also. It was bloody emotional, to be quite frank. You then get a little panel of Vegapunk just apologising to Sentomaru, basically saying how cruel it is to make him face Kizaru, and he understands if he runs away, given the sort of past that those guys have together. And then we cut back to the action. So there's another panel which just amazing artwork here. It shows Kizaru about to land a big ass kick right into Sentomaru. See all the exclamation marks, and I don't know if they're saying whack or something like that in Japanese there. And basically he's shooting a laser or some sort at him in the next panel, telling him that you should surrender, Sentomaru. and then he does his signature Yasukani no Magamata, or however you say that, where he shoots all the laser beams like bullets. And then we actually see Sentomaru here huffing, and huffing saying basically, sorry uncle, I gave my word to Straw Hat Luffy, saying that he can't back down, you know. And then he goes for his great axe, you can see it there, and he actually picks it up. And then once he picks it up, Sentomaru is actually saying to him that, since when have you been so chummy with the pirates? And he's basically said that he owes the old man his life and he doesn't care whose side he takes, basically, as long as he is helping Vegapunk. And then he tries to slash him with the axe, but you can see Kizaru uses his devil fruit to just sort of split himself apart, or I don't know whether he slashes him and cuts him apart, but it just doesn't affect him because he's probably not using Haki then, I guess, when he goes to cut him. He tries to hit him again, I think. He says, and miss, probably referencing another hit. And then we get a flashback to their past in the next panel here. Basically it's showing young Sentomaru who's beat up a bunch of bears who've been attacking the village or something like this by the looks of it. I'm guessing Vegapunk and Kizaru had actually been sent to take out the bears, but Sentomaru just dealt with them all himself. And then we can see young Sentomaru actually talking to Vegapunk and Kizaru, basically saying how he hates all the villagers because they're all wimps, he doesn't want to go back, and Kizaru's asking him if they kicked him out. And he basically said, I just need a job that pays good, I'm tough, so I'm not going to get hungry or anything at all like this, just bragging, exaggerating obviously. And then Vegapunk asks him, okay then, well, what are you looking for to get with the money? And he says, onigiri, which just sets Kizaru off clearly. Looks like he's about to laugh. In fact, he does laugh in the next panel, we can see laughing. And then it cuts back again. I think Kizaru is saying you were so cute back then. But then it does instantly cut back to the past. In the next panel, we can see a young Sentomaru talking to Vegapunk with a massive head. I mean, Jesus, his head's huge. And he's basically saying, in that case, how would you like to be my bodyguard? And he's saying, really? That's awesome, you're actually going to give me a job? And then we see here a young Sentomaru again talking to Kizaru by the looks of it. And he's saying, hey young, how am I meant to protect Grandpa Punk, meaning Vegapunk? Can you come and teach me? And he basically says that don't call me that, I'm still young. And then we cut back to the present, where he's saying that basically I taught you the best I could, Sentomaru. And then Sentomaru hits him with the Ashigara palm attack of his own to try and take out Kizaru. And then we actually see Kizaru as well saying that basically my guard isn't anything to sneeze at either, you know. And Thwap hits him with another big laser. The next panel looks like it cuts back to the fighting between the Marines and the sea beasts on the shore. We can see someone holding the authority chip. Looks like Kizaru actually giving an order to all pacifistas, saying all pacifista units come in. The previous command issuer is unconscious and out of commission, and the authority's been transferred to him. And basically telling them that there's been a change of plans as well in this next panel. Protect the Navy fleet and send the weaponized sea beasts to the ocean floor. So I guess that means he's taken out Sentomaru if he's getting the authority chip. And this has basically turned all the pacifistas on their side, so now he's using them against the sea beasts. And then it then cuts to a larger panel here where we can see someone saying the objective of the pacifista squadron has been successfully changed. I don't know if that's Kizaru or someone else, but you can clearly see one of the pacifistas hitting the weaponized sea beast with a laser beam right in it back there. And then we get to cut to Jay Garcia Saturn again, basically saying what a waste. But I suppose if I had to choose, the pacifistas are the better ones to secure. Basically keep me updated on all the casualties, and someone saying yes sir. Then we see a little shot of Egghead Island there, and we cut back to Usopp saying Sentomaru's finished. And then the next panel we can see Sentomaru lying on the floor. He's clearly been taken out, he's lost the fight to Kizaru, but I mean we all knew that was going to happen. There's no way he was actually going to beat Kizaru. And you can see Vegapunk's clearly upset by this. They were clearly family, or very close to each other. And one of them saying in this next panel, where we can see them all typing on the computer, that basically we can't afford to dilly-dally, just get the system lifted, get the defences up so we can get out of here, and we won't let basically the time he brought him go to waste. We're not going to let his sacrifice be in vain. The next panel Actually, we can see the Vegapunk still on the floor, basically saying that you're not going to crack it on the Vegapunk as well. And then we get another good panel here. Kizaru looking up clearly at them. I don't know whether he's meant to be looking at us as the reader, or he's looking into some sort of transponder CCTV type thing, and you can see Sentomaru lying on the floor there. And then we have some words from Vegapunk saying that basically we need to focus. Kizaru is made of light, so he could pass through the laser barrier any minute now. And Usopp's basically getting really worried, saying, wait, what do you mean he can get him whenever he wants? And they're saying, yep, that's true. And Usopp's saying that, you know, the guy basically wiped us out almost back in the day. And then we see a shot of Kizaru saying, my, you know, straight up, how nostalgic. And he starts to laser himself up away from Sentomaru. One of them saying that, look, let's book it, you know, once the barrier's down, we've got to be ready to go pronto. And one of them then, in the next panel, you can actually see the Vega Force 1 running and carrying the Sunny. One of them saying basically, way ahead of you, all we need to do is carry the ship over to the back of the island, let's make this happen. And we have a panel of Luffy eating here as well, along with Bonnie still eating food, typical of the both of them. And one of them saying, Liv, what's the racket? And she's basically saying that the emergency siren, but why? No one should be able to get through the barrier. And then we get another big spread of Kizaru shooting up out of the ground, or shooting up into the sky. And he's basically saying that the Power Station, Punk Records and York, those are the three things that can't become collateral. And honestly, it would be nice if I could add old friends to that list, but unfortunately eliminating Dr. Vegapunk is our top priority. And we can see with the big panel of just his face when he's saying that, and he knows what he's got to do, he knows what's got to be done, and he knows he can't disobey orders. In the next panel we can actually see one of them saying that, yeah, Kizaru's infiltrated the dome, and one of them screaming. And then the next panel cuts back to Vegapunk in the laboratory, and we can see Usopp still talking through the transponder telly with Brook there, and he's basically saying that Luffy and the others are still on their way back, telling Luffy to hurry up, and Brook saying that Luffy, this ain't looking good. Vegapunk then chimes in and basically said it'd be pointless to lift the barrier anyway if the ship isn't in position. You see Stussy there, and then that pigeon with Lucci goes cuckoo, flies into the air, and by the looks of it, Lucci, again as mentioned in the spoiler, so that was correct, launches himself at Vegapunk here. We can see he tries to go for Vegapunk, but Stussy actually jumps in the way and takes the hit. So we can see a big panel here of Stussy in between Lucci and Vegapunk, who took that massive hit for them. In the next panel we can see a little tiny one of Vegapunk shocked. One of them just shouting Stussy as she collapses to the floor. No one saying Stussy-chan. The next panel cuts to Nami and Sanji's taking the bubble gun, or whatever you call it, from Nami, and instantly puts Kaku in the bubble. That's good, very clever, taking Kaku out of the picture straight away so we can't help Lucci. And he's saying it seems your friend left you out of the loop. So yeah, Kaku didn't know this was going on. And then we get a big panel of Zoro clashing with Lucci, and Zoro saying looks like you waited for backup to grab spine. And Lucci then says to him in the next panel that you're all as good as dead, and now that Kizaru and I are working together, you should know by now not to underestimate us, which I think is Zoro that says that to him. I mean, I know Kizaru is there, but it does surprise me that he's making his move there when he's still outmatched. You got Zoro, Sanji, the rest of the gang all there, Kaku's in the bubble, Lucci's basically on his own still, but he still makes the move. I kind of respect him for it, but again, is he banking on Kizaru showing up any second now? The next panel actually cuts to Kizaru here, and he's basically saying, I was wondering where the ship got to when he didn't see it at the shore, as he's behind the Vega Force 1, you can see it running, carrying the ship with it, and they're basically saying that we need to hurry up. They sent an admiral, Luffy, you know, what should we do? One's going, hey, Luffy, shouting at him, knowing he may very well be asleep. I don't think he is. And then we actually see a cut of Kizaru going, huh? What's going on? And then we see someone call to him. You can just see their feet saying, hey, long time no see. And surprise, surprise, Luffy comes in and smacks Kizaru with a big kick in this next panel. Yo, Akon, this is amazing. I can't wait to see their fight unfold for real. And then the next bit, we can actually see Kizaru sort of blocking it, and he's basically saying, I see that you're as cheeky as ever. And Luffy's basically saying to him, you know, we're 100 times stronger than we were 2 years ago. So I am curious to see how far this fight goes. You know, does Luffy end up using Gear 5? Does he end up beating Kizaru? Does Kizaru end up giving him a run for his money? You know, he has just taken on Kaido, Big Mom. He's come out of Wano fighting some heavy hitters. Now he's got to face Kizaru. I'm curious how this turns out if he does end up using Gear 5. Or maybe they get interrupted. Maybe Saturn shows up before the fight ends. Maybe he then has to fight Saturn as well. I'm really curious how to see this turns out. I can't wait for the next chapter, but I believe there is a break, so whenever that chapter does come out I will cover it. But yeah, that's all from this chapter. I just want to say thanks for watching. You know, I appreciate all the support. If you do like the video, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.